Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be talking about the severe weather potential to be going on across parts of the northeastern United States. Later today, we'll also have a short tropics update. We got MS 91L in the Gulf of Mexico. That'll be moving into the Florida Peninsula very soon. We also got Hurricane Larry as well out of the Atlantic as well. So we're going to get started with the severe weather side of things today. So for the Northeast here, we do have a slight risk for severe weather across parts of eastern New York, even to parts of Vermont, eastern Pennsylvania, far western part of New Jersey, even to parts of central Maryland as well. We got a large marginal risk for the Canadian border of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, all the way down to parts of South Carolina. So it's a pretty large marginal risk out there. The tornado threat, there will be some isolated tornadoes out there today. There's another area for risk of tornadoes across parts of the Florida Panhandle and also parts of far southern Georgia that may be associated with Invest 91L that'll be coming onto shore very soon in the next couple of days here. Did not mean to click on that. Damage and winds will also be there, and also there may be a low end hail risk as well. You also do have another marginal risk area across parts of west central Texas, and then another one for far southern Arizona as well within that marginal risk. And here's tomorrow. We're not expecting any severe weather tomorrow. Same way on day 3. So we're going to get started with the severe weather side effects. This is the latest run here of the HER model, still updating right now. But you'll kind of get the idea of what could happen here later today. So later this afternoon to the evening hours, you do see this cluster of showers and thunderstorms, and you do see these little bowing segments here, and that can indicate some damage winds with some of these bowing segments as well. And you do have these little kink on lines. There'll be some places where maybe a circulation tune may try to develop, especially nearby some of the strongest storms as well. So there may be that QLCS tornado threat across those regions. But then as you kind of get to later today here, severe weather threat kind of shifts further to the south here, a little bit more focused in eastern Pennsylvania to parts of New Jersey, back into across parts of Maryland, into Delaware as well, and even as far north as southern New York. Again, with these little Boeing segments here, that's where we can see that potential for damage winds, and on the northern parts of those Boeing segments is where we do have that potential for some isolated tornadoes. Or you could say QLCS tornadoes as well. And this squall line will continue to move to the east here, bringing in an isolated strong to severe storm threat across these regions here. I don't think everybody will see severe weather out of these storms, but there may be that opportunity that some of you guys could see some severe weather out of these storms as well. You do see that how it does blow through New York City by 5Z later tonight. So this is kind of getting into the overnight hours, and unfortunately, this is going to bring in more rain across these regions here where they do not need any more rain. It's not going to take a whole lot of rain to get flooding issues as well, which we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And you do see that continuing to move to the east as well. Could be some gusty winds along that squall line as well. How about the environment here? We'll check out the highest NAM for the environment. And farther up to the north here, there's not a whole lot of instability out there. There is some places got over 1,000 joules per kilogram, but there's some areas that's below the threshold. So we'll kind of get a couple soundings from north to south. We'll start off at kind of along the New York and Vermont border. And you do see here, it does support a tornado threat. I'll say that at least. There is just enough storm to Felicity out there to support that. Low evaporates can support a damage to wind threat. However, downdraft cape is pretty low here. We also do see this though, right here, that you do have the green line, which is your dew point line, and the red line spread apart here. But then it kind of closes off, kind of get down to 850 millibars and then opens up again. That's a pretty good damage to wind sounding there. We may have to pay attention to that as well. And there can also be some hail as well with some of these storms as well, especially with that cold air aloft as well. And the photograph is pretty small, so it's going to pretty much support weaker tornadoes, which is some good news there. We'll go a little further south. There's greater instability in eastern Pennsylvania to parts of New Jersey, so we'll check out on that as well. And this is what we got here. A little bit of a better photograph as we got here. Story to Felicity, that'll be favorable for some isolated tornadoes. Even on the sounding here will be favorable for damage to winds, even for the low lap rates as well. Downdraft Cape still at the lower end side of things, but well, it's actually 820, so that's actually favorable. I thought it said 620, but nope, 820 is the number, and there'll be enough instability out there. So this will support some severe weather, damage to winds, maybe some small hail, and probably some isolated tornadoes as well with that sounding as well. And we could go a little further south. We'll go into parts of Maryland. This will be the last setting we'll check out. We may do a couple more later on in the day. And you do see here also favorable for damage to winds and some maybe an isolated tornado risk as well. Story to Felicity still supports at that. Daedric Cave definitely supports a damage to wind threat, same way with the low lap rates. Could be some hail as well, especially with that elevated mix layer. So what we got going on up here. That's what can support maybe some stronger updrafts that could support a hail threat. You also got some plenty of instability out there as well. So this will be favorable for all hazards as well. But then again, the hail risk is kind of low end. But large hail may be possible with some of these storms as well. You can see as we kind of go on later in the day, you can see how the instability kind of fills out, exception for New Jersey. But there is some sign in that kind of comes in, so that'll limit some of that severe weather potential. And then here's Thursday here. Hurricane name looks to be a little bit slower and does show some severe weather potential, maybe for parts of Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Maybe we'll get one sounding here just for curiosity. Try not to make this video too long. We'll see what it has here. And it doesn't really have a tornado threat with this sounding here, but then maybe some gusty winds as well with some of these storms as well, just by looking at it sounding as well. So not only severe weather will be a problem, but there could be some flooding issues as well. Here's the current hazards outlook here. We do have a flash flood watch in effect for eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and even for a couple counties in far southern New York as well. Includes the western part of New York City as well. This may get expanded further to the east. We'll see about that, but it ain't going to take a whole lot of rain. Even an inch of rain we could see some flooding problems across these regions as well. I mean, again, it's not going to take a whole lot of rain. Get some flooding issues. This is the day one excessive rainfall outlook. Currently have a slight risk for excessive rainfall, and they kind of look at the chances for rainfall rates exceeding uh, 2 inches per hour. And you see here, we do have the better opportunity to see that in areas in the slight risk here, which includes eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, southern New York, far northwestern part of Connecticut, western Massachusetts, into southern Vermont as well, as we're going to see that potential for some flooding. Even areas with the green here may have that low end opportunity to see some isolated flooding issues as well. And as we move on to day two, which is tomorrow, slight risk may be needed here on this day here. Models have been hinting on a decent amount of rainfall across these areas in here, especially eastern Maine as well, which we'll take a look at that here in a moment. But you do have that marginal risk, which does include far eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts, in the eastern half of Maine, as well. Some of these thunderstorms may train over some of the same areas as well. Here's that rainfall potential. This is back on the 6Z run of the HRRR. It doesn't show a whole lot of rain across parts of New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York. Not showing a whole lot of rain in those regions there. But then again, those soils are very saturated, So most of this rain here is going to kind of run off of there. They're not going to take much any more water here. So really, if you get an inch of rain across these regions here, you have that opportunity to see some flooding issues. So keep in mind that it may not look like a whole lot of rainfall will be coming, but then again, it won't take much rain to get some flooding problems due to those very saturated soils. Now, as you move further to the northeast here, we got better rainfall totals, especially in eastern Maine, where we have a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain. And as you move further to the southwest, it's a general half an inch to maybe 2 inches of rain as well. This seems to be a very accurate picture here of what we're kind of thinking here. But here's the high-rise dam here, and it shows something pretty similar here. A little higher on the rainfall totals, could be a little bit overdone here across these regions, but it does have a similar idea to what the high-rise to the H-triple-R model does show. You do notice here further to the southwest here, shows some slightly higher rainfall totals, which won't be good. If we can stay at least under half an inch of rainfall, I think we'll be fine with the flash flooding for it. But if you do get over half an inch to maybe an inch or more rain, you may get to see some flooding issues as well. But keep in mind, it won't be as significant as what happened last week. I mean, these rainfall totals are much lower. We're only expecting maybe a quarter inch to maybe an inch or a little more of rain across those regions as well. So let's move on to the tropics here that everybody's probably interested in. So we got MS 91L in the Gulf of Mexico here. We also got Hurricane Larry. There's another disturbance to watch here that may come into the main development region very soon, but the main topic here will probably be MS 91L in Larry. If you guys remember in the last video here, we talked about Hurricane Larry here that could bring in some large waves along the East Coast. That still looks to be a great possibility there to see that happen. So anybody that lives on the coastline here still will experience some larger waves and also strong rip currents. So if you're going to go on the beach here to swim, please be careful as well, because those strong rip currents may get you as well. Even though Larry's hundreds of miles away from shore, it's still going to bring in some larger waves and also stronger rip currents along the east coastline as well. And some of those waves, especially for up to northeast, could be as high as maybe 6 or 7 feet. But if you go further to the south here, it could be as high as only 5 foot high waves here as well. So just to keep in mind that. And now we got Invest 91L. Oh yeah, I forgot to check on what the statistics are on Larry. Larry is now a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 115 miles per hour. It's got a minimum pressure of 966 millibars, so it's slowly dying down here. So it's not a major hurricane, but it can still bring some effects to Bermuda here, but they won't be major. I'll say the main threat will probably be larger waves and also some stronger rip currents as well, although you guys can see some winds and also some rain as well. Now let's kind of get on with Invest 91L, and they've recently upped the probabilities up to 50% here. So in the next 48 hours to 5 days, this guy beat them 50% chance. It's still pretty disorganized. Keep in mind that. So still the chances, in my opinion, are still a little low for development here. But the upper level winds are starting to become a little bit more favorable for development, but then again, it's still got a long way to go to get a little bit better organized here. But will be affecting parts of northern Florida, southern Georgia, even across parts of southern Alabama as well, and even as far west as southeastern Louisiana. It's going to bring in some rain across those regions here, especially across parts of northern Florida and southern Georgia, where some places could see a decent amount of rain out of the system as well. So here's Hurricane Larry here again, and the eye's gone. It's gone. It had a very impressive eye over the last several days, and now it's kind of faded away. It's down to a Category 2 hurricane, and it may have a threat to the Newfoundland of Canada, or wow, Canada. That's what I meant to say. But you please hear then again, it's mostly going to be a fish storm. It may affect parts of Iceland and Greenland later on in the future. And here's the intensity guidance, and you see here the majority of models keep it a Category 2 hurricane over the next couple of days here, but eventually it's going to be slowly dying down over the next several days as well. So here's FS 91L right here, and the main circulation is probably somewhere right in here. There is some shower thunderstorm activity kind of in the northern and eastern quadrant of the system here. You do see some of those showers and thunderstorms are affecting areas along the Gulf coastline, which could bring in a decent amount of rain, maybe some minor flooding issues up there as well. But this will be continuing to move to the northeast here as well. And we do not have many models out there right now since they just named this Invest 91L. This is 12C. Over the next couple runs, we should start to see most of the models get in range here as well. We currently have two models here, and they show a decent agreement here may make landfall somewhere in northern Florida and kind of continues move out into the Atlantic as well. Maybe afterwards it could be a fish storm out there as well. Here's the GFS's Ensemble thoughts, and doesn't show to be that impressive either. It may try, maybe become maybe a weak tropical depression when it gets into parts of the Atlantic here, which could bring some effects here, like some higher waves and also some storm, uh, actually stronger rip currents, I meant to say there, kind of along the coastline there, but it's not really going to bring a whole lot of impacts here. I'll say the main impact will probably just be heavy rainfall that could produce some isolated flooding problems as well. But as of right now, I'm not too worried about the system as of right now. Here's the intensity guidance from the models, and only two of them bring to a tropical storm, but the majority of them still keep it as a tropical pressure. So it's not really going to be a major system or anything like that. But we'll still keep an eye on MS91L very closely over the next couple of days. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.